Nowadays, we spend so much time in front of our computers and our phones. We don't even interact with people face to face anymore. For sure, it's a new era and a new way of doing things as technology advances. But do you ever get the feeling that we don't know how to get along with each other anymore? And apart from social anxiety, another big factor is we're becoming more selfish as a society. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how being less selfish can actually benefit you more.
It sounds crazy, right? And doesn't really make sense. Why should we, of all people, think about others when we can't even really properly take care of ourselves? But this is a global issue. We learned in school that Asian cultures are generally less self-centered and more collaborative, while Europeans and American cultures are the epitome of individualism. But everybody at their core is thinking about themselves only.
Look at the pandemic that we've all been through over the past couple of years. You know that saying, nothing brings people together like a common enemy? And I thought that with the coronavirus, it would essentially be the common enemy and everyone would come together to fight the virus. Well, nope, I was completely wrong. As soon as the news said to shut everything down, everybody was like, screw this, it's every man for himself. And all the face masks and toilet paper were gone. Instead of coming together to come up with a solution that would end the virus quickly, people started wars on social media to blame just about everybody and the entire world. But what did that do to help? Absolutely nothing.
When we look at companies fighting each other for market share, we don't usually see a lot of collaboration. Instead of seeing how both companies can succeed at the same time, it's mostly cutthroat competition. Eat or be eaten. And that's the usual model. And that doesn't sound very civilized at a higher level, if you think about it. Why is it that we have to see the other entity fail in order for us to succeed? Even if we succeeded, at what cost?
Obviously, it's normal to put yourself first and to think about yourself first, because otherwise we wouldn't be here existing. But that's a basic survival instinct, and supposedly as humans, we're more advanced with thousands of years of civilization and society, where we learned the power of community and join forces to achieve bigger and better things. However, it seems that in recent years, we've kind of regressed into pre-civilized times, but it makes sense because we're all sort of in our own caves per se, such as on our phones or all in our minds. Somehow, we're more connected than ever, but at the same time, we're more distanced than ever.
I live in Hong Kong, and one of the negative connotations that foreigners have of people here is that they aren't the nicest or most friendly people here. There are a lot of reasons for this, and it will take me a long time to explain and go deep into this topic, but essentially what I've noticed here is people have this attitude of, if it's not relevant to me, then I'm just not gonna do anything about it. And part of the reason for that is they want to stay out of trouble. And I've lived in China for more than 20 years before this, and the story's pretty similar there as well. If I'm not gonna get merit or credit for doing anything, then I'm just not gonna do it. Simple. And that's what most people thought about. So in work situations, we are prone to this mindset of it's every man for himself. I just want to share with you my experience of working a day job here in Hong Kong. I started this job more than a year ago. I came back from America back then, and I wasn't really sure on how the culture and how people did things around here. So it was my first day on the job. For some reason, nobody was introducing themselves to me as the new guy, and they weren't really talking to me. And I was like, okay, maybe it'll be better the next day. It's the same story. It's been weeks and weeks after that, and my colleagues would start to talk to me, but it was only strictly work-based, and it wasn't really any small talk, any, getting to know you, that sort of talk, which I found pretty strange. And I was like, okay, if that's how it's gonna be, then I'm just gonna do my job and stay out of the way. But the problem was, I wasn't trying to blend in with my peers, and I was in a way isolating myself. You can blame them for not including you, but you should really ask yourself, am I making an effort first and foremost? Because they can feel that. So as I said earlier, I was initially working with my peers on a strictly, I'm just gonna do my part and that's it. But later on, I met this colleague from another department, and he really opened my eyes to things in a way that when I asked him something, he would go above and beyond. I would ask him a question, and he would actually come down, guide me through every step of the way without me having to ask. And I'm super thankful. I'm thankful not only for his help, but also that he was truly embodying a collaborative spirit. And that's something that's really rare. He wasn't afraid of wasting his time or resources to help this person that he barely knew. He wasn't asking whether or not he's going to get credit for doing this. He wasn't going to look around and see if my boss is looking and maybe I'll get a promotion out of this. No, he wasn't even thinking of that. Instead, it seems to me that he's seeing this bigger picture of him helping me would benefit us as a whole, which inspired me to do the same thing. So now, when I'm doing a task, not only do I look at it from the perspective of, okay, I gotta get this job done, I also take a few steps back and look at the bigger picture and ask myself a few questions, like, who am I actually helping here? And what do they actually need? And how do I actually help them? And bearing these questions in my mind all the time, I noticed that there's a change in the way that I talk to my peers. And as a result, the team, we became more collaborative and we're more open to communicate and help each other. And that's what this is all about.
Let's look at it from another perspective. A common misconception we have of successful people is they're successful because they're rich. But what if we got it all twisted? You see, we've studied a lot of successful people, and they all have one thing in common, whether it's Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, or whoever you think is successful. It's that they all started their journey without making money as their goal. They pursued it because they were passionate and because they wanted to make a positive impact on people around them. Imagine if Bill Gates created Microsoft just to impress a woman. We would have never heard of Microsoft. The byproduct of their collaborative spirit and their ability to impact people is the billions and billions of dollars we see them make. The more you can impact others with what you do, the more you will be rewarded.
Yes, helping others will in turn help yourself. Surprise! Now that I have this higher perspective on things, the way I act and the way I speak changes, and the people that I interact with can sense that. In return, the universe gives me more because it can see that I can handle more and I can give back to more people. So out of the blue, I wasn't even looking for a new job. This competitor company came over to my LinkedIn and they were asking me if I was interested in a new position that they were having and they were opening for hire. I was like, okay, sure. Let me hear what you guys have in mind. The process went super smoothly, like you would never believe. Like I wasn't even thinking or devising of ways of, how do I get this job? What do I have to say to impress my future employer? None of that. And it was just going super naturally, and they gave me an offer after one interview. You might not be able to feel the benefits of being in a collaborative mindset and embodying that collaborative spirit right away, but it won't go unnoticed. I guarantee you that.
In the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill talks about forming a mastermind group, which is where two or more individuals that share the same similar desire come together to form a group. He states that when two minds come together, they form a third, an invisible, intangible force. Have you noticed how when you hang out with your friends, a lot of good ideas suddenly seem to come about? Ideas that simply wouldn't have occurred if you were by yourself? The aim of the mastermind group isn't to let the others do the work for you, but to stimulate the minds of everyone in the group. The more like-minded individuals you can associate with, the faster you'll be able to reach your goals.
Born into technology, our generation and the ones after us will definitely struggle with social skills like teamwork, empathy, and thinking about other people. And so we're susceptible to being self-centered, but that's okay. The next time when you happen upon an opportunity to be able to give more and to think more, consider it. Consider how you can make a positive difference. And that's all you need to do. So today I want to end this video with a quote from Earl Nightingale, who says, "No man can get rich unless he enriches others."